Hello guys. Welcome back to the channel. Hold on y'all, because my camera is like not staying put and I do want y'all to be able to see me. Okay. So, welcome back to the channel guys, and on today's video, I kind of want to recap a little bit about the Community Reinvestment Act before we get into talking about people possibly losing out on their equity in their homes. There is a lot of misconception going on where people think that because their house has equity, they're due that money. And what a lot of people don't understand is that you actually have to qualify for this money. All right, guys, so get excited. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now. I'm going to bring y'all this information for those of you that already own a home, and even those of you that are thinking about buying a home. This is something that you really want to know so that you're prepared when you buy your house, that you don't buy a house that's going to make you house poor, where down the line, God forbid, your only lifeline would be taking out a second mortgage. Because I told y'all on a video before that taking out any money, borrowing money against your house, doing a HELOC, home line of equity, that is basically taking out a second mortgage. Since we're already talking about it, let's just get right into the video, and then maybe I'll recap on that Community Reinvestment Act. I wanted to double down a little bit on that because we talked about it in the previous two videos on certain communities that will make you qualify for up to $25,000 worth of down payment assistance or closing cost assistance to purchase in diverse communities. There are programs in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. The Community Reinvestment Act is nationwide, but I only know of the programs in the areas that I service, which is DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So I will be sharing that information with you guys. I shared it on another video, and I have a whole post on my community post with the notes so that you know where to qualify in Maryland and Virginia. And sorry guys, we're just drinking some caramel latte. I need some coffee, okay? I've been showing houses this morning, and I'm probably going to go home to some house full of kids running around ready for mommy energy. So excuse me as I take my coffee break. And I'm trying to decide if I want to, you know what? For the sake of the video, we're going to talk about this home line of equity. I'm going to give y'all this breakdown, and then we'll end up watching a clip that I forgot to insert on the last video talking about that $25,000. Because I feel like this guy, he does a really good job of breaking it down. And y'all know I don't edit my videos. I bring them straight. This is my channel here on YouTube. I'm a small creator. And the way the YouTube algorithm works, the less edits, the more people see your video. I have not had a video go viral yet, y'all. So I'm still learning this whole YouTube thing. And I find that when I don't overthink how I make my videos, I am able to consistently upload for you guys. So, all right. Let's talk about this home line of equity. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it is because we saw numbers. There are a lot of people that have lost their jobs or have had significant job changes that has changed their monthly income. And for some of these families, specifically the homeowners, a lot of them are considering home line of equity or borrowing against their house is the most lamest way to say it, right? So I want you guys to understand what this encompasses and why a lot of people will not have access to their equity. And if you are someone that is struggling, I don't want you to wait until the last minute to put your house on the market to get it sold if in fact you cannot pay your bills and you think that you can rely on borrowing against your house. You have to understand that you will still have to qualify for that money. So if you don't qualify, if you lose your job, you definitely won't qualify to borrow against your house because you have to have income. You have to have a credit score of at least 620, and they're going to check your debt to income ratio as well. So if you've been paying for everything on credit, which is the trend right now, you're going to disqualify yourself. And a lot of homeowners don't know this, right? So that's why I'm bringing y'all this information, because I don't want you getting tricked out your bag. I don't want you losing your house to the bank. If you are someone that is in trouble right now, don't wait till the last minute. Get a market analysis done by a realtor. Find out how much equity you really have in your house, and maybe you can sell your house and take the equity and buy a house cash, or buy a condo cash, where you'll be able to afford a just paying your taxes or condo fees, right? Because there are a lot of people in the DMV that have, $200,000 plus in equity. And I think personally, it would make more sense to cash out, take that money and buy a smaller property cash, right? And then all you have to worry about is your taxes. If you buy a condo association, or if you buy a townhome, HOA, right? So this is a play for somebody that is right there on the fence. And I'm just going off of the data of the statistics. We know that a lot of people have lost their jobs. And we also know that a lot of people have a lot of equity, if not owning their home outright. A lot of baby boomers basically own their homes straight up, right? They don't have a mortgage on their house. All they're paying is taxes. This is why I always say it's better to buy sooner than later, because the longer you own your home, the more equity you will have in your house, right? So if you come into a point where, okay, the market is shifting and you're a little shaky on your money and you have to cash out on the equity, the only way you truly have access to that money is when you sell the house, okay? But for the sake of those of you that maybe have been searching home lines of equity and things of that nature, let's get into this, okay? You can access the equity in your home in a few different ways, depending on your goals, financial situation, and credit. Remember how I told y'all, they're checking all of this. Here are the most common options. You have a home equity loan, which is a second mortgage. You borrow a lump sum using your home's equity. You get a fixed interest rate and a fixed monthly payment. And this is great for large one-time expenses. A lot of people do it for renovations, or maybe debt consolidation, or maybe helping to pay for college or university for a child. The second option would be, and that one is the home equity loan, and that will be a second mortgage. I told y'all this on another video. But we're diving deep today. So a home equity line of credit, that's a HELOC. That's the one that I see a lot being promoted online. I see it come up on my TikTok feed and YouTube and Facebook feed. So there are a lot of companies that are promoting HELOCs, but they ain't gonna tell you this, y'all. It works like a credit card with a revolving line of credit. Variable interest rate, so that means that your interest rates can go high or low. Flexible borrowing during the draw period. Usually you can pull money out. So it's basically like you'll have a line of credit. So for example, you have $200,000 worth of equity in your house. They'll let you borrow up to 180, and you have 5 to 10 years to borrow against that. Depending on how much money you take out, your interest rate can change, okay? That's very risky, okay? Because now we're looking at another monthly payment, and this one can change depending on how much you borrow and how much the interest rate fluctuates, okay? Interest only payments during the draw period, then full repayment phase kicks in. That's why those HELOCs can get very, very risky, okay? I would not recommend it. A cash out refinance, you replace your current mortgage with the new one for more than you owe and take the difference in cash, okay? So you get a fixed interest rate. This is ideal if you want to refinance to a better rate and access cash at the same time. Most of the people that own their homes today already have the best rate. Interest rates have not come down low enough to where you should even be considering refinancing, because you're going to set yourself up with a higher payment. A reverse mortgage, okay? This is for people that are 62 and plus. This converts equity into cash or a line of credit. No monthly payment required. Loan is repaid when you sell or pass away. You must live in your home as a primary residence, okay? So that reverse mortgage would be for my people that are 62 and over. All right. Important considerations. You typically need to have 15 to 20% of equity in your home. Lenders will evaluate your credit score. I told y'all that in the beginning, your debt to income ratio and your income. Think about how it impacts your monthly budget and long-term goals. I'm telling you, you're going to be adding an extra monthly payment. If you are already struggling, that money that you get access to, it might feel good to be able to pay some things off or be able to resolve some things. But at the end of the day, you're still going to be left with a monthly payment to pay off the money you borrowed. Okay. So what are the qualifications to get a HELOC or a home mortgage, equity mortgage? You're going to need at least 15 to 20% in equity in your home. So for example, your home is worth $400,000 and you owe $280,000. This means you have $120,000 worth of equity. So that's 30% of the value. You qualify to be able to borrow. But you're going to need a minimum credit score between 620 to 680. 700 plus gives you the best rates and terms. So the higher your credit score, the better rates and terms. When you lose your job and you start taking out credit or being late on payment, we already know your credit score will be affected. So think about all of these plays before they affect your credit score. Okay. They're going to look at your debt to income ratio. I've been talking to you guys about this in a lot of videos. What lenders are looking for is that your debt to income ratio, they're basing this off of your gross monthly salary, and they want it to be between 43% and 50%. The lower, the better. The lower, the better. Okay. They're also going to want you to have reliable income. So you'll need to show proof of income, pay stubs, W-2s, tax returns to ensure you can repay what you borrow. This is like qualifying for another home loan, okay? This is why I don't understand why people throw around this home line of equity like it's so easy to access and, you're just pulling it out. No. The only way to truly get access to that money is by selling your house. If you don't sell your house, you are borrowing against your house to be able to cash out on the equity. Okay. And the bank is going to qualify you just like they were for the original loan. Okay. Other things that lender may check. They're going to check property value and the appraisal. So they're going to check to see that the house is worth what you're trying to borrow. Occupancy. HELOCs are typically only for primary residence. So you wouldn't be able to do this on an investment property. Though some allow second homes or investment properties with tighter terms. So talk to the bank and see what is allowed. Loan to value. So the LTV ratio. Lenders may cap the total combined loan, original mortgage plus HELOC at 85% of your home's value. The reason why they do that is because they want to make sure that that second mortgage on top of what your home is worth isn't going to make you be upside down. So they want to make sure that, for example, if you owe 280 and you're trying to borrow 120, that when your house is worth 400,000 in the current market, okay, you can get the home loan. But if the market goes down and your house is now only worth 370, well, they're going to say, well, instead of you being able to take out 120,000, you would only be able to take out 80% of that, which will probably make it like $100,000, something like that. So everything is dependent on what your market value is. which is why it's important. If you are someone in this situation, you can get a free market analysis from a realtor, and we can do that for you. And we could also give you an estimate on how much equity you actually have if you were to sell your house today. Okay. I know I have software that allows me to do that for people, and I do that free of charge because it helps give you a guide on whether or not you should be selling, or if you should even go down the rabbit hole of trying to qualify for a HELOC or a home line of equity loan. I personally do not recommend it, guys, because if you are already in some type of financial trouble and you're banking on your equity, you're kind of like just setting yourself up for disaster. I think that one of the biggest misconception about the equity in your house that people have that are not like really knowledgeable on real estate is that people think that equity is real cash. I think I've said that enough on this video. It's not. If you don't sell your house, you are taking on a second mortgage. No matter if you do a HELOC, home line of credit, all of that. The commercials that I see, especially Rocket Mortgage, they make it sound real pretty, real sexy. Like, oh yeah, we could get you the cash out, blah, blah, blah. No. You see these real estate investors on Instagram and YouTube talking about you can take the equity out your house and put it down to buy an investment property. Y'all, that is risky business. If you don't have money, you should not be borrowing it to make business moves. That's my opinion. I told y'all this on another video. Real estate is a solid investment. We are seeing a lot of high income people, wealthy people that are now taking their money out of the stock market and wanting to invest in real estate. They're buying properties cash with the goal of renting them out. But these people have money, okay? They're not taking out lines of credit on property that they own, and they don't have any money in reserves to be able to take care of repairs, and when the repairs come up, to be able to cover any type of expenses on the house or whatever. These are wealthy people that have the capital to be able to do the BRRRR method, and that's where you take out a home line of equity credit on a house that you already live in, and then you take that money and you buy an investment property with the hopes of holding it long term, having a tenant pay that mortgage, so then all you have to do is worry about your current mortgage and the paying off the line of equity. Okay, but that is a very risky play in today's economy, especially since jobs are not as secure as they once were, right? We are constantly seeing people get laid off, and it's making job stability very, very, very less and less reliable. So I would not recommend making that play if you already are struggling just to pay the mortgage that you already have, kind of like makes sense. It's better in today's market to live below your means than above your means, because like money in the bank is more important than looking like some big shot or being this big time real estate investor. No. Buy the house that you can afford. Buy the house that you can comfortably pay with the job that you have. If you can buy a house with a little extra room so that you can rent out some rooms, that's even better. And if you are somebody who is in financial distress and you've been thinking about taking out a line of credit on your mortgage, don't do it. Rent out a basement, Airbnb some space, get a side hustle to help you make your mortgage payments or to pay down or save up for whatever it is that you think you're just going to pull some equity out. If you don't qualify, babes, you're not getting that money. Okay? So let's go back. That's all I got for you guys today on the home line of equity. But I wanted to play this video on this realtor that was talking about the Community Reinvestment Act, because I think this is very important to know. We're living in a time where everyone is just focused on travesty, but the banks are still giving people money. So I'm going to let y'all hear this, okay?
$1,000 if you'll move into a black Banks are now offering $20,000 if you'll move into a black neighborhood. I didn't believe this, but I got this email from one of our local lenders saying that if any of our clients wanted to move into an area that was at least 50% diverse, that they would put $20,000 towards the purchase of that person's property. And the reason that they are doing this is that a lot of banks have been in trouble with the Community Reinvestment Act because they have not been lending in basically black areas, and they're getting into a lot of trouble, and they need to show that they are making loans in diverse communities. Now, there's no test. You don't have to be a particular race to take advantage of this, and as far as I know, this is only in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Wouldn't be shocked if it was in other places, but right now, if you don't mind being in a diverse area, the banks will pay for you to live there. But I want to know what you guys think. Is this a good idea to be paying people to live in a certain area because of the ethnic makeup, or is this just some sort of discrimination? Let me know in the comments below. Hopefully that's of value to you. If you're moving in the DC, Virginia, or Maryland area, hey, we have a real estate team. We'd be happy to help you out.
Okay, guys, so I just wanted y'all to hear that from somebody else, that it's not just me making these videos telling you guys, especially here in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, that there is money to help you buy a house. If you are a veteran, you already don't have to put money down. On my community post, I listed the areas in Maryland and Virginia that will have access to the Community Reinvestment Act funds. Every county calls that money something else, okay? They don't say Community Reinvestment Act, but the money is coming from the Community Reinvestment Act. And I don't know if I said it on my last video, but I want to make sure that I say it here. That money is first come, first served. So the more buyers that need to access those funds, as soon as that money is gone, the lenders can't give it out. So that's something very important to know. Right now would be a good time, if you do need some type of funding like that, to get with the lender that is approved. And I've got that information in the community post, to find out how you can get access to down payment assistance programs through the Community Reinvestment Act. I know that in Stafford, the Virginia HUD program that utilizes this funding, you're allowed to use this grant with other down payment assistance programs. That's major. That is major in today's market. I'm bringing you guys real information on how you can access money to purchase a home. Don't get mad if you're living in an area and you start crying gentrification because somebody else decided to buy up the block using funds that the government has for certain diverse areas. And I don't want you to think that they're all like urbanized, okay? Like, you could use this money in Stafford, Virginia. You can use this money in Charles County, Maryland. It's not just PG County. It's not just DC. There are some areas that will still qualify for this money that I think a lot of people from the DMV will be surprised to find out what those areas are. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to make it too long because we already gone long enough, y'all. But I just want y'all to stay encouraged, keep your mind positive, and to wrap everything up in this video, don't go borrowing money that you don't have. Don't go borrowing against your house if you are already struggling, because your house is your safety net. The market is still strong enough that if you have to sell your house, you can still cash out on your equity and put $200,000 into the bank, or use that money to buy a house someplace where you can afford a $200,000 property. That's it for me for today. Happy Palm Sunday. If you have not already become a subscriber of this channel, like, subscribe. Until we meet again. Bye-bye.